I welcome you again to Niger Delta Today. But first, let's tell you a story of interest today. History is being written in the Niger Delta's education sector for the first time since it began its foreign scholarship program years ago. Niger Delta Development Commission (NDDC) is awarding local postgraduate scholarships to deserving students right here in Nigeria. The initiative marks a strategic shift in the Commission's human capital development drive, focusing now on strengthening local institutions, building homegrown expertise, and retaining talents within the region. Well, according to the NDDC's Managing Director, Dr. Samuel Obuku, the goal is to ensure that the Niger Delta scholars contribute directly to national growth without necessarily seeking opportunities abroad. The new scholarship program, which cuts across key disciplines such as engineering, environmental sciences, and ICT, is also designed to complement the federal government's agenda for innovation and sustainable development in the oil-producing areas. Now, for more on today's event and possible outlook of beneficiaries gathered, our correspondent Jennifer Pius, who's been following the ceremony, is on standby to chat to us. Jennifer, you're welcome to Niger Delta Today. Thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon, Sergio, and thank you for the time. And I'm currently at Port Harcourt, River State, and I'm at the location for the presentation of our award to local postgraduate scholarship ceremony. And this is an activity that has begun, I think, some months ago, July, August, when some applicants were invited for a computer-based test. So those who had succeeded in the computer-based test were subsequently invited for an oral interview in Port Harcourt. And now, from the selection after the oral interview, there have been successful candidates who are currently here in Port Harcourt for the award ceremony. And this is the first time NDDC is organizing a local postgraduate scholarship award. Since the scholarship scheme began for the NDDC, it had the foreign postgraduate scholarship award ceremony. And it sends thousands of Nigerian or Niger Delta out of the country to study in different areas of education. They've had for humanities, they've had engineering, environmental sciences, management sciences, and even on innovation and technology. But this is the very first time the NDDC is organizing a scholarship, a local scholarship for postgraduate students in the Niger Delta region. And I must say it is really commendable because the Niger Delta region is one area that the youth are known for their skillful nature. So it is also necessary we look inward and try to build the educational sector in the country. So I must commend NDDC for this particular one. And we're looking forward to seeing how it goes. Although the awardees, the successful candidates, I would like to say, are already seated, and the event will be commenced in a couple of minutes from now.
All right, well, Jenny, I'd also like you to expand on the point you made. This is the first local scholarship that has been given by the NDDC. Could you point us to some of those reasons this policy shift was important, especially now in the Niger Delta region?
Well, this has become necessary because, according to the NDDC Managing Director, there's need to build human capacity, there's need to build the youth, there's need to build the Nigerian system, and always having to send people out of the country will only enrich other countries. And so it's also necessary to look at the country's educational system. And so there are also Niger Delta schools in Nigeria. There are Niger Delta schools in different parts of the country. And so it's necessary to also to grow the educational basis. So this happening for the first time is a commendable activity.
If you were able to kind of feel the pulse of the beneficiaries, what is their momentum like at this time? And are they excited?
Yeah, I have spoken with a couple of the successful candidates. And to start with, one of the major things I've heard from them is that this was a very smooth and fair, a very fair process that persons who, according to them, didn't know anyone. We didn't have to go through the back door. We wrote the exams. We were invited for oral interviews, and those that were successful were invited. And so they've shown so much excitement that this is not just a government venture where it is only people, a privileged few are invited, but people who are really deserving of the opportunity. And like during the accreditation process, they've had to screen out some and request only those who've gotten their admissions are also awarded. So for people who have not gotten their admission letters, there has to be a process where you bring in the admission letter within a time frame and then you'll be given your award. So they've really shown some form of excitement about the local postgraduate scholarship. And they've also spoken about the fact that schooling in the Nigerian system is becoming expensive. Especially talking about postgraduate studies. And so the NDDC bringing in the scholarships will also assist them in financial burden of education in the country.
Jennifer, talk to us about the focus areas of the scholarships. Are they aligned with the region's development priorities? Talk about oil and gas and those aspects that are really critical in the region.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
Well, I was hoping you could bring us up to speed with some of the priorities of this particular scholarship. Do they really align, to those areas that really concern us here in the Niger Delta region? You talk about oil and gas and other areas that are important.
Indeed. Going through the successful candidates, the selection process began with people in specific areas. Like there's been environmental sciences, there's also engineering, technology, management science, and humanities. Now, the major focus has been on the oil and gas sector, which includes environmental sciences and engineering. But they've also brought in students from other areas like humanities, but they've paid so much focus on the oil and gas sector, which the Niger Delta region, we understand, is the oil-producing region. So they also have to pay attention to people who would like to advance studies in those areas and try to assist the Niger Delta region.
Are you concerned about the question of sustainability? Some persons would want to know if this program that has been started would be sustained and how frequent it would be.
Yeah, that's another concern. But knowing the NDDC since its inception in 2000, whatever activity the NDDC embarks on, they try as much as possible to sustain that program. Like the health outreach of the NDDC, year in, year out, the NDDC conducts health outreaches in the Niger Delta state. And even the postgraduate, the foreign postgraduate scholarship, it's been ongoing for years now. And so I'm hopeful that the local postgraduate scholarship will not just be a one-time thing. They will look at subsequent years and also see how they can increase the number for local postgraduates.
Well, Jennifer, on a parting shot, I'd like you to look at the takeaways now. What does this represent for the public and persons who are really looking at the activities of the NDDC and wondering if they are doing well? Do you think this is significant at this time?
Yes, looking at this, I think the NDDC has done a review of its activities for them to even think of, or for them to organize a local postgraduate scholarship. I think they've done a review because if they've been applauded with a foreign postgraduate and they decide to consider a local postgraduate award program, I think they've done so much to recalibrate and ensure that this activities of the Niger Delta Development Commission is not just favoring other countries, but the major focus of the mandate of the NDDC, which is the Niger Delta region. And so I am looking forward to the NDDC expanding the scholarship program and making it a year-in-year program.
All right, thank you very much, Jennifer Pius, and we're hoping you a successful stay in Port Harcourt and, of course, safe trip back home.
Thank you very much, Xavier.